Hi, Judge Andrew Napolitano here, and you're on Freedom Watch with my guest and good friend Juan Williams. He's a Fox News political analyst, a co-host of the infamous The Five here on Fox, and the author of a brand new book that we'll get to in a little while. But the title so intrigues me. What the hell do you have to lose? Trump's war on civil rights. I want to talk to you about the president's tone when he goes after somebody like Stormy Daniels using barnyard phrases. Does that no longer shock, or does it animate voters in the midterms coming up in 2.5 weeks?
Well, I think it does shock on some levels. I think clearly the response, especially from his critics, is overwhelming, that this is the way he demeans women, and they immediately go back to talking about Carly Fiorina, going back to the Republican primaries, if you recall, Judge, where he said, look at that face. Or even coming forward, remember during the debates he had something to say about Megyn Kelly and all that. So this is a part of his track record, and I think for his supporters, not all that out of the ordinary. But I think for most people, it is kind of, you're taken aback. But forget that response. Let's just look at it in a pragmatic political view.
That's what I want to know. Does it animate a Republican base? Man, I hope not. Or does it repel a Democratic base and get them to come out?
That's the question. And the question really is not about animating so much the Republican base. I mean, it's a little bit of red meat and they may be amused, but I don't think it's going to animate that base. The issue here in specific is the House of Representatives and whether or not Democrats are able to wrest control. And we're specifically looking at areas outside of major metropolitan areas, suburban districts, with a large percentage of white women, educated white
soccer
women.
Moms.
Yes, soccer moms. At times they've been called other things, you know, military moms, whatever.
Right.
Especially after 9/11. But these folks, I think, as women, are really subject to being offended in the immediate preview, run-up to the midterms.
All right.
Judge.
So, is the Democratic argument Donald Trump is offensive, or is the Democratic argument we need checks and balances? Donald Trump can't have a Congress that he tells what to do, and the House of Representatives in the hands of the Democrats will be the best thing for democracy. Which argument are Democrats making?
I think the latter, which is that not having the Republican White House, Senate, and Congress, in addition, some might argue the Supreme Court. I was speaking to Judge Napolitano.
He said Republicans control the court.
That's what he said.
The Chief Justice to recoil, and a lot of us from the Judicial Committee to recoil, that a party would claim it controls the court. But he did say that.
Well, I think he said it, and I think it's a real insult to democracy because, as you know, Judge, the justices on the Supreme Court are given lifetime appointments, and the idea is to insulate them from political pressures and being the captive of any one political party. Donald Trump has taken a hammer to this, basically called it out as pretense. And I know this is your show, but I think that somebody should at some point say, Andrew Napolitano stood up for what was right and has spoken, you know, to people at times here on this network who don't want to hear what you've had to say. And I just want to say thank you, Judge.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that, Juan. I haven't heard the I word, impeachment. Except maybe from Jerry Nadler, who will probably be the chair of the House Judiciary Committee if the Democrats take the House. Have the Democrats fastidiously avoided that? Is it toxic, or is it below the radar screen and there?
I think it's there, but remember, we were talking a moment ago about energizing the right, energizing Donald Trump's base.
Right.
Kavanaugh and the Supreme Court nomination clearly energized that base.
Right.
Talk of impeachment might also energize that base because then it would be seen as people need to turn out to defend Donald Trump. At the moment, I think that's why the Democrats have pulled back. Not only Nadler, but remember Maxine Waters and Al Green were talking about this. And I think they've been told it's just not to your advantage.
Okay, now I have to ask this question this way. What the hell is what the hell do you have to lose all about?
Well, the subtitle, Trump's War on Civil Rights, but I just put it to you in these terms that if you talk to Donald Trump, if you listen to him when he says things like horse face or what the hell do you have to lose, he is really saying about the black community, hey, you guys live in neighborhoods worse than Afghanistan, trash-filled streets, no jobs, bad schools. And he's really talking about the 20% of black people who are at the lower end of the economic scale, disproportionately young people. He somehow ignores the striving, the accomplishment, the achievement, the belief in the American dream of the majority of African Americans.
What's the takeaway from your book?
The takeaway is that Donald Trump has a problem with race and that he has used it to stir up his base and to divide us as a people, so that race relations, and this isn't according to Juan Williams, but according to the polls, race relations are worse now. People disapprove of how he handles and talks about race. It's emboldened the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists in American society. This is dangerous for us because we're a more diverse country right now.
You're one of the most intellectually honest people I know, and I will read this book. Thank you,
I appreciate it, Judge. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. From New York, defending freedom whenever they let me, Judge Andrew Napolitano. See you next time, America.